Hey guys, Omni here. So yesterday I finally was able to clear up some time to watch In the Heights. I know I'm late to this whole thing. I've had some people ask me what my thoughts are on the film and if I've seen it yet. So we're going to get into that now. And I just watched it again earlier this morning to kind of get a feel for the movie again. Just because I think like the first time through, I was like still kind of confused on some things and maybe I just wasn't paying attention to a lot of the dialogue. I don't know. Something about the atmosphere at the time I watched it the first time. I was a little unsure about how I felt about the movie, to be honest. The movie itself is directed by John M. Chu. Of course, this is from the brainchild of Lin-Manuel Miranda, who worked on and pretty much created the stage Broadway musical that this is based on. I do want to say that as far as the movie goes, I can't speak for the Broadway because I've never seen it. This is my first experience with this song, with this story, with these characters, and I want to give like a huge amount of praise to the choreographer of this film because this guy pulled out all the stops. One of my favorite things about this movie is the kinetic energy in all of the choreography. And I believe if I tracked it down right, it's Christopher Scott is the name of the choreographer. I found a couple interviews with him and how he kind of worked and collaborated with Lin-Manuel to bring this kind of to the forefront. But I think the choreography in this is fucking beautiful, stellar, if anything, because the music itself is always energetic, always popping, and I feel like if you like Lin-Manuel Miranda's writing style, you can definitely hear some similarities between other things he's written before. And this, of course, it might also be because this was originally written, a lot of the music for this was written back in 2005, and he's definitely evolved since then. And we've seen a lot more of his stuff over those years, of course. So it's probably, this is where it started. So maybe we're hearing some lingering bits of some things that have come into his other works. And we're just now being introduced to this. Maybe coming full circle in a way. This is just me kind of speculating, but there's a lot of cues in his music that that kind of has its own little personality that you can attribute to Lin himself. The standouts in this movie, I think, is the cast. I don't think anybody in this was miscast. I think everybody pulled their weight. You can always have like a kind of a weak link in a musical here and there, especially when you try to put something up on the big screen and maybe you're not going for all the musical talent, like if you do like a Hairspray and you talk with Amanda Bynes, not to call anybody out, but if you wanted to go that route, because that's one of my favorite Broadways is Hairspray. And this one, I thought the cast that they got to play on the big screen all was fantastic. You might recognize a few of them. Anthony Ramos from, he was also played 2 roles in Hamilton. So if you've seen Hamilton, you've seen him. And he's pretty much our lead in this film. He is the focus on our film, the character Usnavi, who runs this bodega. Joining Anthony Ramos, of course, is a lovely cast, including Corey Hawkins, which you might recognize from a couple of things. He hasn't been in too many films, but I did recognize him myself. I've seen, he's got one of those faces that I just recognized but couldn't like pinpoint it until I looked through his IMDb, and it ended up being like Walking Dead of all things. But he is so charming to watch in this. His movement, his swagger, his voice, all of it is amazing. You know, of course, if you are a Brooklyn Nine-Nine fan, you'll recognize Stephanie Beatriz in this, and she is a treat. She's not like a main cast member, but she's just in there. It's kind of starting off with some faces you might actually recognize, but filling out the rest of the cast is people that I've been introduced to for the first time through this film, and that is Leslie Grace, Melissa Barrera, Olga Merediz, who actually played the same character, the abuela, in the film in the Broadway musical, the only original Broadway performer to carry over into the theatrical version of the film. Of course, we also have Daphne, Rubin-Vega, Gregory, Diaz, and Jimmy Smits in here. Everybody pulls their weight. Like, I think I do have a couple of weak spots with the film, but it is not with any of the performers. It is not with any of the performances, any of the scene work, any of the dialogue, any of the interactions or chemistry with any of the characters. I feel like everybody has a swagger, has a charm, everybody is just oozing this charismatic draw to them that just makes them fun to watch. And I feel like a lot of the people that are in this film if they aren't, deserve to be breakout stars. And I really hope that Anthony Ramos is one of those, because I just found myself really drawn to his character, to his performance. Like, there's nobody in this that I dislike. Like, I liked every character in this, and I thought everybody was just really endearing. Like, you really get involved with everybody's hopes, dreams, and struggles. And that's what this movie is about, is really it's about dreams. And whether it's because of this Latino community, most of which are immigrants, and how they kind of live in this area and stand behind one another, and on the shoulders of their forefathers' dreams, ideals, struggles, from where they came from to how they're building their community here, and what they aspire to be or what they want to do with their own lives. Sometimes wanting to have their own dreams, some of them looking backwards. There's a lot of honing in on what you truly want out of life in this. And when you kind of add this whole like musical element to it, you get people to really kind of open up and shift. People kind of learn to let go of things, because maybe the dream you're looking for is blocking you from seeing the things around you, the things that you already have. Maybe you're looking backwards. Maybe your dream is actually not yours and something that's been instilled on you by somebody else. Throughout the film, of course, we focus on each one of these characters with about the equal amount of time. We follow them on their journeys, their ups and downs, their highs and lows, as we are coming through this kind of point where we're being introduced to all these characters. It's this moment in history in their community where there's a lot of change happening. We've got new people coming in and buying up spaces in their community, taking away businesses. We got some people that are finally getting away from the nest. Of course, you know, we've got Nina, who is one of the main characters, who is one of the first people in this neighborhood to be able to go off to college, and goes off to Stanford of all places. And how, you know, there's this perception of the one that got out, the first one to kind of go into that world, and then also introduce the world and kind of be the ambassador for this community to the rest of the world. There's a lot of heavy themes that come in along with this movie, and there's some sad moments in here. But the overall theme and tone of the whole production is about joy. At the end of the day, celebration of where you came from, where you're going, who you are, and what you will do with your time. And also how you're not just the product of who you came from or where you came from, but also the product of those around you, the people you surround yourself, the people you choose to have in your lives, and the people that matter to you. And it's just a warm, lovely movie. And the only minor complaints I have about it is, when I was actually looking up and researching the Broadway, is that there were some changes to the story to update it, which made some of the character motivations kind of clash. There's a couple of conflicts in here that I didn't quite understand until I looked up the musical. So there's some bits that I don't think they translated well, or maybe it was because they were updating some things, and they did shift some things and include some stuff to make it a little more modern to some of the stories they wanted to tell with this. But there's some parts in here where some of the conflicts, internal conflicts with some of the characters, I didn't quite buy. But in the original, when I was reading through the original Broadway play, the structure of that felt like it flowed a lot better. So I feel like there was something in there that just kind of got thrown in the mix that didn't quite translate over into the film. I also feel like the overall film could have been a little bit shorter. There's a section in the middle, primarily where these conflicts that I was talking about happen, where I feel like it just kind of like stalls for a little bit. But after a point, it picks back up again. But overall, I had a really joyous time with it. It is still a fun watch. I think it definitely made me want to dance in my chair. It definitely made me want to go out to a swimming pool and just kind of dance like a maniac. This movie makes you want to move. It makes you it's uplifting. I do want to also add that the film is gorgeous. I think the way this film is shot, the cinematography, and it's kind of hard to do with musicals that you're taking off the stage and putting on a screen. Like, how do you translate that and still get the size, the scope, the scale, and do something interesting, creative, and cinematic with it? And they did a fantastic job with this, bringing it to life, making it this lovely artistic dreamscape in a way of this New York City block and community. And it's really beautiful. It is a gorgeous movie to watch. And the bigger the screen you got, the better, because you want to see every little detail of it. Cinematography in this was fantastic. Despite the few problems that I had with the film, overall, I did enjoy it. I don't know if this is going to be one of my favorite musicals of all time, but it's definitely an enjoyable ride. So I do recommend it at the end of the day if you got some time. It's not going to be for everybody because I know a lot of people have a hard time getting into musicals, but I have a soft spot for them. So being a song and dance kid myself. But yeah, guys, let me know what you thought. If you've seen it, sound off the comments. Let me know your thoughts down below. We'll carry on the conversation after the video. Before we go, huge shout out to our channel legends, Mandy Sherritt, Ryan Karen, and Jason Coleman. Thank you guys so much for your support. Remember, guys, we have a Discord channel open. It's open for everybody, and the link to that, as well as all my other socials, are down in the description of this video. And I hope to catch you guys in the next video. Take care, everybody.